Hello again. This is Sarah Box with Sarah Box's Storytime. Welcome. Today, I'm going to talk about an interesting book that, as you can see, relates quite well with our coming up holiday of the 4th of July and the 250th anniversary or birthday of the country. So this is a book called Neighborhoods, and it was written under the pen name Tatum Estelle and published and copyrighted by Estelle Murdoch on Amazon in 2012. And interestingly enough, this person is my father, actually. So I have a connection to him. And let's learn more about this book. So the main ideas are basically, it's an experimental story about a new kind of society in the USA. And according to the author, it's based on ideas from the Bible. And he also mentioned a book, which I believe was written by a leader in the LDS Church. And a lot of these ideas go along with the Constitution and ideas of liberty, fraternity, and equality. So ideas from the Bible and ideas from the Constitution and the way that maybe some of the first fathers envisioned the nation. And it envisions a society that is run by the people and for the people, that doesn't use money in the conventional sense. That's why I have a picture of money crossed out. And I find that to be one of the most intriguing ideas from the book. So here is a sample from the foreword written by the author. And sorry that it's a little bit hard to see, but I'm just going to read from this paragraph where the author says in the foreword, "I started this book as an experiment. I asked myself what I truly believed. What would be the basis of the right way to live as far as I understood life? I started by writing down a few principles learned from the Bible, and then organized a people that would be willing to live by these principles." So he's talking about the characters that he created in the story. So he created a group of people that would live by these principles. Then he says, "I started with just one anonymous neighborhood, spread the principles throughout the town, and then took it nationwide. I knew that these principles could not be lived without conflict, so I wrote about that. But I assumed that most people would want a change that would bring prosperity to the nation, do away with taxes and centralized authority, and let the local people govern themselves. Showing how to set up such an organization and fit it into an interesting story was my goal." So that gives you a really good summary of what the purpose of the book is and was. So I read this book, and interestingly enough, I could really see in the characters the author and his life experiences. I could really see that in the characters and where he got some of those ideas. So it was a really interesting book for me to read. And as for my conclusions about it, some of my conclusions anyway, some of the strengths of the book is that it does have an intriguing storyline and experimental vision. I think it's a unique look on what society could be, and it reflects some real concerns that are relevant to our society and government today. In fact, some parts, when I was reading, made me think of recent events such as Black Lives Matter and other kinds of governmental issues that we have experienced recently. And another strength is that the story is relatable and easy to read and get involved in emotionally. You can really feel what the characters are feeling, and it's relatable to everyday people. Now, some of the weaknesses I noticed is that there are quite a few spelling errors and what appear to be some text, font, or style inconsistencies in the Kindle version that I acquired from Amazon. It is a self-published book, so it's got some of those little quirks in it. And I found some of the language that is used could be considered a bit insensitive and a bit outdated when it comes to our present modern social and political environment. Some of it seemed a bit more like what you might expect from the 90s or 80s. But overall, I would give the book 4 out of 5 stars. I think it's got a lot to offer, despite the few little weaknesses that I noticed. So my favorite part of the book is that I like the ideas that are promulgated about having an egalitarian society, that instead of using money and the capitalist system we use now, which we all know is not quite working for everybody, all people in this story are given a federal credit card that they can use for their wants and needs, and work hours are used for credit rather than monetary capital. So in the story, the government is set up in a different way where people are required to work, but they get all their wants and needs taken care of, and they have a social structure where everybody is looked after and taken care of. And it reminds me of some aspects of the LDS Church, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, of which I am a part and very familiar. And a lot of the way the social structure is set up here kind of reminds me of some of those aspects. And so it was an interesting book, and you can find it on Amazon and learn some interesting ideas from it. So happy 4th of July and happy America's birthday, and I hope you have a good one. Of course, if you want to hear more about books that I have read and my ideas about them, you can subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you next time.